All right, here we go. I got a little demo for you to show how I go about incorporating a Cobra knot stitch directly with a 4-strand braid. I was just asked this week on 2 different occasions on how to do that, so I figured why not throw a little video together to show how I do this. Just to give you a more understanding of what I mean. There are a couple different ways I have done the bow slings with the Cobra knot and the 4-strand braid. 4-strand braid being obviously 4 strands in the rope shape, rounded style of knot. Well, this first way with the pink and the gray line, I'll show you how I've gone, I think, the easier route, I guess. And that's just to make your completed round braid or your 4-strand braid and then stitch directly over the top of that with a separate set of lines. So this would essentially be 6 different lines you'd be using on one sling. And it's just as easy as that. You just make your big braid and then you braid directly over the top of that. 2 obvious advantages of that are obviously, one, it's a little bit easier because you just stitch over that like you would a regular bracelet. And second advantage is if you were to find yourself in a situation where you needed some 550 cord, maybe you need to change out your bootlace or tie something up, you can actually unbraid the stitch over the top of that, and you'd still have the inner core, and you'd still be able to use that as your sling, so you wouldn't lose any functionality with that. But you'd still have more bang for your buck because you've got this extra line you can use however you want. Yeah, that's big advantages with that. But as far as looks are concerned, I much prefer the looks of the directly integrated Cobra stitch with the 4-strand braid. And that's specifically what I was asked earlier this week too, is how I go about doing that. So as best as I can in front of the camera, I'm going to try to show you right here. This is just a little demonstration. This is a little sloppy, I apologize, but like I said, it's just for the demonstration purposes. So you get your lines, and what I'm going to end up doing, once I untangle them, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch the Cobra stitch with these green lines, and I'm going to run the black line and the camouflage line down through the center like you would a regular bracelet with the Cobra stitch. And so basically you just go about doing your 4-strand braid. And just for demonstration purposes there, I made some stitches. And I'm going to get to a point where you'll see where the black and the camouflage lines are more towards the center of the braid than the green ones are. That's where I want to start, or stop, I guess, in this case. So I'll stop stitching. I'll take the 2 center lines that I want to run down the middle, and I'll kind of straighten those out a little bit. And then I'll look at my Cobra stitch braid lines, and I'll find the one typically that is more on the back side of the 4-strand braid, and that's what I'll start with. So trying to keep it as tight as possible, I'll go ahead and run that line over the top and essentially start my Cobra braid using those other 2 as my center core. And you'll see after 1 stitch, keep it nice and taut, tighten it up. Difficult behind the camera, but there you go. There's 1 stitch for the Cobra stitch, and you can already see I can let go, and that 4-strand braid is staying right there, and the Cobra's already started. So I'll go ahead and do a couple stitches for you for the Cobra braid, just to give you the idea. Do a couple more. Now, like I said before in the beginning of the video, this is kind of sloppy. I do take my time on it a little bit more just to make it sharper and tighter, but this is just for demonstration purposes. And you get just the same idea too, whether it's sloppy or not. You'll see it. So you go down your braid as far as you need to go. I'm going to stop right here. Obviously a lot shorter than usual. And then you kind of pick a spot to incorporate these green lines with your center lines again to start up that other end of the 4-strand braid. So I'll go behind this knot here. I'll take this one. I'll stick those behind the two center lines. I'll take this other one and I'll bring it over as tight as I can. And I'll start with those two to start up that 4-strand braid. Try to help tuck those lines in a little bit tighter so it doesn't look quite as loose and sloppy. And once you start getting it going, you'll start to see that that strand start to form up again. And I like to try to keep it as uniform with the opposite end as possible too. So if you have more than just these 3 colors, you might want to make mind of what lines we're crossing over to what lines up here, just to keep it uniform, you know. But it's a little bit easier with just the 3 colors. And you'll see it's already taking shape again on the other side, and it's almost identical to the other side. I even have the black line on top going into the Cobra braid there, and then coming out almost identical, which is about as good as you want to get. Obviously this one could be better, but just like I said, I'm just trying to get the idea out there to give the notion of what exactly it is that I do to incorporate the knot directly with the 4-strand braid. The Cobra knot is not the only knot you can do that to, but it seems to be the easiest one. There are some knots, like this one, the shark jawbone. This is a bracelet I just made last night. It doesn't work out so well tying it over the knot, or over the 4-strand braid. You kind of lose the integrity of what this knot looks like. But it does actually form nicely directly from the 4-strand braid into the knot, the shark jawbone, and then into the 4-strand braid again. That's actually what my current sling looks like right there, and I'm pretty happy with that. But I hope this helped out a lot. It is pretty simple. It might take you a couple turns to get the hang of it, but it's pretty simple. Just get some finger coordination and a couple of tries and you got it. I do check my YouTube fairly often, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. I try to answer as soon as I can, but if you don't get a response right away, just sit tight and I'll eventually get to you. I like to hear the feedback and respond to it. It's a two-way street. That's the way I like to do business. All right, well, thanks for watching, and I hope we all learned something. Later.